Ladies and gentlemen, Heroes of Mavia has been taking up a lot of my time. And in fact, maybe my favorite game right now. And so I've been taking a lot of time playing this game. Some people have been asking me for questions regarding the game. And to be honest, there are a couple things that I wish I knew. So I'm going to be touching base on 10 tips as a bit of a beginner's guide for people getting into Heroes of Mavia. If you enjoy this kind of content, as always, like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First tip has to do with the Mavia airdrop. Currently, there's a Mavia airdrop. They're going to have their thing happen on February 6th. If you are going to play this game, go onto the Mavia.com website, link the same email that you're using within the game. If you're wondering how to actually go ahead and get onto that email, very simple. On the top left, you're going to see this thing right here. This is your player avatar. You're going to want to click on it. Then you're going to go to the settings option. After you're on the settings option, just go down tiny little bit, and right where it says the account connected, it's not going to say that for you. It's going to say link your Gmail. Do that, please, because it helps you save your progress and makes you a whole lot better. And by the way, if you want to support the channel, where it says creator code, very simple. Type in the word Jesus, and then boom, you're supporting me for the next 60 days. Thank you all for that. Now, the next tip has to do with when I first got started within the game. This is very important. On the bottom left, you're going to see this battle option. You're going to want to click on this, and then we're going to go over here where it says missions. Missions are really important because not only do they not break your shield, which I'll get into more later, but they also go ahead and give you a ton of resources. For example, for me on mission 7, I could get 5,000 of each resource. And for a beginner in this game, that is a big deal. You're going to want to go ahead and go through all of these. It's very simple in terms of a troop. You're going to start with this guy called the Striker. Just make a bunch of them. It's going to be really easy to do until around level 6 is when you're going to start running into issues. And of course, if you're running into issues, it's going to lead to my next tip. You're going to want to go ahead and get to headquarter 3 as fast as possible. There are only a few times in mobile gaming that you can get away with rushing your headquarters, and that's going to be HQ3 and HQ4. HQ3, namely, is the more important of the latter because you get this little thing called the Aircraft Factory, which allows you to train this guy here called Skyfire. His awesome thing is that he goes ahead and does ground target damage, but he is a guy that flies. I mean, he literally flies. Isn't that awesome? We love flying people. Why do we love flying people? Because when you go to mission number 6 is when you're going to start running into issues. There are a ton of mortars, which are really annoying, and the only way to go ahead and counter them is by putting one of these little flying guys, and boom, they can't even target you. So it's huge because in headquarter 3 especially, there is very little anti-air defense. Usually, typically speaking, when you go to battle, people only really have one anti-air missile at headquarter 3. So all you do is send all of your troops at that one anti-air missile, and then you're going to be on the sunset grabbing all of their beautiful little resources. Now, the next tip has to do with your base design. As you can see, my base design right now is asymmetrical. What this means is that I'm not putting the same things on each side. I'm putting them a little bit all over the place, and it's on purpose. It's not because, I hate the beauty of making a symmetrical base design. I love that stuff. Making symmetrical base designs, very beautiful, but at these lower headquarter levels especially, you're going to want to make base designs that are really strong around certain parts of your bases and a little bit more vulnerable on others, because you want to deny most people in headquarter 3 from being able to 3-star your base, and that's the idea here. So make it a little bit asymmetrical, throw them off just a little bit, and you should be winning a heck of a lot more of your base defenses. Also, make sure that you're putting little walls around your defenses. Obviously, I don't have all the walls in the world because I'm still headquarter level 4, but it will carry you a far way. Now, the next tip has to do with shields. When you're starting the game, you start with 2 days worth of shields, and 2 days worth of shields is pretty good. Don't fade it. Don't do what I did and don't go to battle, click on ranked, and find a match. Because when you're starting the game, it's a lot more efficient to just do your missions and wait for your collectors to do their thing. Because collectors, they do a lot of collecting. I mean, I get 800 resources per hour. For this one, obviously, you're going to be getting less, probably somewhere around like 200 to 600 max. per hour. But this adds up very quickly. And so you can go to sleep, at least not worrying about someone going ahead and attacking you. And maybe you decided to make that mistake and you did what I did, and now you're worried about your shields. Because a lot of people are losing a lot of resources. People are getting all their gold collector stuff stolen. Well, it's very simple. Put a timer on your phone. And please collect your resources before this little shield takes down, because if you have a lot of resources, then you're going to be screwed. And the next tip has to do with exactly that. Spend your resources before logging out, because you don't want to let the other people get your resources. If you have a lot of gold, upgrade your walls. If you have a lot of oil, go ahead, go to your laboratory, make some of these guys, upgrade whatever it is. As long as you don't have the resource, then they can't steal it from you. And talking about the next tip, it has to do with your laboratory. Researching certain troops is much more efficient than other troops. For example, when you're first upgrading your strikers, you're not getting a big advantage over perhaps say another upgrade like a Skyfire. Here's a great example. When you look at your striker, he only gets like 2 extra damage per second. He already has 13 though, so it's barely an upgrade, maybe like a 10% boost, and it cost me what, 82,000 oil, versus my Skyfire that I'm already using. He gets an extra 7 damage per second on top of the 7 that he already has. That means he's getting a 100% boost on the amount of damage that he's doing for one upgrade. So of course he's extremely efficient in terms of an upgrade. And since we're going to be focusing on Skyfires for our air attacks early on in the game, it is a must-have upgrade versus one like a striker that is 82,000 oil and really won't drive me that far. And talking about going far, the next thing I want to talk about is trophies. As you can see right now, we are in the gold division. We have 1,000 trophies. And right now, that's kind of a lot. And it's for good reason. Back in the day, 3 days ago, when you clicked on this button and you tried to find a match, it would take quite some time to get to a match. But as you can see, it took me, 5 seconds to find a match. It's got a good, decent amount of resources. Maybe I'm not into this one and I want to go ahead and grab another one. It doesn't take a lot of time to find bases anymore on Heroes of Mavia, which is absolutely awesome. It's how it should be. And so don't be scared to trophy push thinking that you're not going to get bases. You're going to get bases. It's okay to trophy push. Just make sure that you are doing what needs to be done to be comfortable at that trophy range, because attacking a headquarter 5 is going to be a lot harder than attacking a headquarter 3 early on in the game. And talking about early on in the game, the next tip has to do with getting friends, because getting friends is the most important thing when you're playing games like this. Remember how Clash of Clans had, people donating troops and stuff like that? Well, Heroes of Mavia is trying to do something very similar. In fact, you can become a legend by joining an alliance. Alliances help up speed base development. Alliances donate units. Alliances support each other. Alliances provide you with shields, and shields are very important. Right now, we can't really see those features because we're still early on in the cycle. The game came out 3 days ago. But alliances are going to become a pivotal role of the Heroes of Mavia experience, especially if you're trying to learn the game. Please join an alliance. We're probably going to have an alliance by the time we get this video up. We'll see. I still have to get my 50,000 gold, but alliances are a must-have on Heroes of Mavia. And the last tip has to do with rubies. Now, rubies are this thing. You'll see it on my screen over here. Right there, these little beautiful rubies, quite literally. You get 100 of those every single day if you go ahead and attack other bases on the ranked mode. Like I said, though, in the beginning, you're going to have a shield for 2 days. Don't break the shield, just relax, learn the game slowly, and do your thing on the missions. Ranked, once you get into it, get your 100 rubies every single day. Make sure you're doing that. If you didn't know what rubies are, they essentially give you access to buying legendary items and cosmetics in the game. If you want to deck out your Skyfire and make them look that much cooler, well, rubies is how we're going to be able to do that. Right now, you can't go ahead and do that. I'm sure that's going to be a feature that's added on in the future, but it is something 100% that you're going to want to take advantage of when the time comes. And so that's going to be my TLDR of just some basic tips for Heroes of Mavia. I hope that helped your experience. If I did, use the creator code Jesus. Until the next time, stay classy, and that's all.